Here we have a new 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali. This one comes in sterling metallic, and then we have jet black perforated leather interior. And this one has the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. That's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And we're gonna see if there have been any changes for the 2024 model as opposed to the outgoing 23. But as we come around to the front end here, same front fascia, LED headlamps along with LED daytime running lights. I love how this can look sleek and aggressive at the same time though, especially with that nice bold grille. But just a very fresh look, even though the update's a couple years old. Down here we have the 22-inch aluminum wheels. If you're curious about the tire size, there you go. Now we have the power running boards. Now this one's pretty modded out. This just has an $83,385 sticker, but still plenty of options on here. And this one does have passive keyless entry on the front doors. We have memory seats, so hit set, hold the number you want to set it to, and then to recall it, just hit that button by itself. Power door lock controls are here. I like the wood finish, and then the rest of it being black to match the interior. And then we have one-touch automatic up and down windows for the front, and then express down windows for the back. Power folding mirrors with blind spot monitors. And then we do have our rear window lock there. Power mirror controls, just pick a side that you can adjust using the dial there. 2 bottle holders here, map pocket, Bose premium sound system. And then we have an electronic parking brake. Just press it to engage, hit the brake, press it again to disengage. We have 3 drive modes, normal, sport, and then off-road. We can toggle with this dial here, and then we have our tow haul mode. Just hit that button there to activate that. 4-wheel drive controls are here, bed lamp, brightness for the gauge cluster, headlamp controls. We can toggle that auto, on and off, and fog lights are right there. There's the hood release, power tilt telescoping steering wheel. And then here we have our power driver's seat with, I believe, 4-way power lumbar support. And then we'll take a quick look at the tow factors here. So gooseneck, 6,600, conventional trailer, 8,900, which is probably what most people are gonna be using. So 8,900 pound tow capacity there. And I'm gonna try and get a good look at this. Let me get as close as I can. And you all can pause anywhere you need to. Sorry about the glare, but that should show up for the most part, I'm hoping. And then standard price for a Denali is 70 grand. And then this Denali Reserve with Super Cruise, highly recommend that. And here's a new option I haven't seen, is the active exhaust for $395. And again, that's an $83,385 sticker price. But huge shout out to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for letting me review this truck today. I'll leave a link below in the description. Now we do have just an underneath spot there. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. So once you lift this up, you have that tray in there to hold additional objects. So it's not just like a smaller pocket that you get in some of the other GM trucks. Never noticed that. But then you also have the storage behind the seat itself on either side, along with the bottle holders there in the middle where that center seat folds down. But hopping in here, of course, not surprisingly, very good space. 6'3", seat in front's adjusted for someone of my size, and plenty of space here. Plenty of leg room between my knees and the back of the seat, plenty of headroom. And then we do get the seat back pockets on both sides, which is great. 3-stage heated outboard seats, USB-C, USB-A charge port, rear AC vents, and then 2 more bottle holders. So you can hold up to, technically, I'm trying to do math here. It's 4, 8, I think. The one thing I can't stand is these child locks. People keep trying to lock me in here. But I like that we also have that wood finish on the back seat. the back door panel, excuse me. That's pretty cool. And then it will deactivate your child lock. Pull it that way to activate it. Push it that way. Fuel filler there, premium's recommended. We do have the tonneau cover here, but I love the sound of this active exhaust, especially with that rumble. Nice sound there. And I would actually recommend that option. But LED tail lamps, and then hit this bottom button to get it down. And then you hit that top button on the bottom right there, and that will activate the multi-flex right there. And then you can just hop up in there with little effort. And then we have a 120 volt 3-prong plug-in there, and then a spray-on bed liner right there. Now to get all that back, it's kind of difficult to do with one hand. So I'm gonna fold it up there. And there you go. Again, with two hands, it's much easier, but I'm holding the camera in one. Now to the front passenger seat. Now, like the sticker showed, 12-way power front seats, which is great, especially with the lumbar support. It's nice to have all that adjustability. We have those side pockets on both sides, a lockable glove compartment down here, and then top storage compartment here. Now, one thing I will say, these are one of the worst issues with these trucks, and I hate it because I've dealt with several of these that do this. I can't get this thing to open up. It wants to be really tough, and then it won't want to shut. So that's supposed to open. I've seen this in several Denalis, so look out for that. Make sure it's fixed before you leave. Make sure somebody looks at that. But back around to the front here, I'm gonna pop the hood, and it's mostly covered up, but there's a 6.2 liter V8 under all of that. And now we're gonna go ahead and hop back in the driver's seat. So nice leather wrap steering wheel here. Of course, we have the Super Cruise indicator there, and then the actual sensor to make sure you're paying attention to the road is right there. But love the thick padding here. I feel like it almost is a little thicker with this steering wheel. I don't know why, it just feels thicker, but especially down here. But love that. Now over here to the Google Assistant screen, we got this with the refresh of the interiors for the Yukon and Sierra, and now we're starting to see it in more and more vehicles, but we get AM, FM, XM radio along with Bluetooth audio. We also have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto compatibility, Alexa, Google News and Podcasts, and you do have a USB port if you decide to use that to plug in whatever. Now with the Google Maps system, it's a great system, don't get me wrong. You do have to have a subscription for it, but I think you still get some access without having the subscription. So you're able to still zoom in and out and see where you're headed. And I think some Ford vehicles are starting to do the same thing, but I think that's mostly for lower trims. This is in the highest trim vehicles, and then you're still having to pay for the subscription. So I don't like that, but I do like how nice the system is, and you're always getting it updated because it's always hooked up to a hotspot. But you can find your gas stations, type in addresses, use voice recognition, save recents, home, all that. Now I do like the side menu here. You can scroll through and you can either see the map, the audio, the trailer status, or you can have a clock up there. Now for the trailer, I'm going to get to that while I'm talking about it. You can go in here, add a trailer, use a guest trailer. We're going to use a guest trailer just so you can see what you can do. So the lights here, you can go through that. You do have that camera view when the trailer is connected, so you can kind of have a 360 view of the trailer. And then you have your checklist as well as being able to calculate your weight there. And then for your settings, go in here, connections. You can do the same thing from the Bluetooth menu. Just go to phones, add phone, walks you right through it on the screen, and you just do everything through your device. Wi-Fi, hotspot, all of that can be fooled with there. Vehicle settings, date and time. Now people always ask me about this, so I always like to go to it. If you need to change your language, you go into there, English, French, Spanish, and if you need to go ahead and change your units, I'll show you where you can do that in the gauge cluster. Now we do get dual zone automatic climate controls, so we have buttons and knobs down here. So fan speed, you can turn the whole system off, adjust temperature, sync, unsync there. Or you can use this nice handy screen here, which is pretty fast in terms of just realizing when you're doing something. So you just have to use the fans to adjust that, and then you can also just change your direction there in terms of where the air is coming from. And everything can be toggled, turned on and off from the screen. And then again, you have those buttons down here, but you also get your 3-stage heated cooled seats. And for the driver's side, you also have that heated steering wheel toggle right there. Don't have room on the steering wheel for the Super Cruise, but I'll show you that here momentarily. Volume knob, you can adjust, mute there. And then you do have a quick shortcut for the home button, which is nice. Here's our backup camera. Guidelines follow us as we turn the steering wheel. We have a front camera as well. We have a look down view, bird's eye, curbside, trailer hitch, and then my favorite, the bed view camera. So you can make sure nothing's rocking around back there. It's one of my favorite features of having this full camera system in these vehicles. But down here, we have our lane keeping system with lane departure. You can toggle that, the parking sensors, auto stop, and you can lower your tailgate here. Hazards are there, traction control, and then you do have your downhill braking system there. And then here, hit this button, hold it. You can roll all your windows down. And then storage pocket here for when you're charging your phones, USB-C, USB-A input are there, bottle holders. And then over here, you have your shifter. Now for the shifter, you hold the button here, pull down for drive, tap for low gear, and then you can manually shift using the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. You can tap up for neutral and then hit the button, pull all the way up for reverse, press P for park. And then over here you do have your trailer brake controller, so you can control all that there. Center console cubby space has your wireless charging pad, 3-prong household plug-in, USB-C, USB-A duo, and then you also have a removable tray, but if you want, you can move it back and forth there, but you can take it out and then you have all that additional space. So plenty storage. Now over here, we have our universal home remote, premium dome lights, and then we have the controls for the power sliding rear window as well as the power slide and tilt sunroof. So that's one touch all the way back, and then you can close it one touch as well. And there's our power sliding rear window. Demonstrate that. And then you have a rear camera mirror here, which you can toggle by flipping this switch. Now back to the steering wheel, we have the stalk behind on the left. We have windshield wiper controls, the intermittents in the middle, then you have low, high. You can adjust your automatic high beams, toggle those by hitting that button on the side, and you have your front wiper fluid here by hitting that button. And then when your headlamps are all the way on, you can toggle your high beams, and then you can flash here. And then behind the steering wheel on the left side, track list or radio station presets can be toggled. Behind the steering wheel on the right side, volume up, down there. Now, with this adaptive cruise system with the Super Cruise, you can turn the cruise on there, and then you can just use it regularly. And then when you want Super Cruise, hit that button right there, and you'll have that lane centering with the adaptive cruise, and then all of your other functions that come with the Super Cruise system. You can adjust the gap for the adaptive cruise and for collision alert here. Mute button, voice recognition, then you have a scroll bar. You can use this to go through your menu. And you can change what's on the gauges, what's on the info pages. And then the units are right in here. You can change from US to metric. And then all of your other settings are right in there. Now for the heads-up display, you do have your settings here, so you can change the info. Let me zoom in on that while I'm doing that. So you can change your info there. It doesn't flash, it's just how the camera's picking it up, I apologize. And then you can move the heads-up display itself as well as adjust the brightness. But love having the digital gauge cluster here. It's so informative, it has so much stuff that's built in here. And then our push button starts right there. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. And now to the fun part. Let's go ahead and take this 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali with the 6.2 liter V8 out on the road for a test drive.